Good morning. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, buddy, how you doing? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. This is Java Delight, our morning where you start every morning with a shot of Java into your soul, coming straight from Gavin and I to get you through the day, bring you positive news, positive affirmations, and help you have a great start to your week. I just finished on Miss Jessica Dugas's The Joyful Project. She was absolutely amazing. She comes and brings a high energy, makes everybody laugh. We were unicorns today. Check me out as Care Bear Brandon on TikTok. You can see me doing my unicorn yoga. Oh, that's a good name, unicorn yoga. I like that.
You're seeing goat yoga?
Oh yeah, baby goat yoga. I want to do it. I have not done it. I'd like to do it.
Baby goat yoga.
Have you ever done it?
No, I've not.
That intro music reminds me of Bob Ross. Well, we're just going to paint a little tree right here.
Yeah, we're going to paint a little bit of happiness in your life.
I love it. But yeah, buddy, we are here, Java Delight, getting ready for our new stuff. Hello, good morning, and welcome to everybody. Gavin, how are you, my friend? How was your Easter?
My Easter was fine. Nothing too exciting. So I had breakfast with Crystal in the morning. She made us breakfast. It was really sweet of her. And then we watched Aladdin. And after that, I went in the backyard, chopped some wood, and then went to work from like 2 to close. So I spent my whole day there. She went and saw my family, and then she saw her family. So that was cool. And I made pasta all day.
I made pasta all day. Stew. Oh, Stuart. I'm like, who the heck is Stu? Like, oh, a whole new world. Uh-oh. Are we singing together today, Jessica? Because it's one of my favorite songs. Don't tempt me with a good song.
Everybody in that movie. I was telling Brandon before the show, everybody in that movie, except for the genie, is a horrible person.
So elaborate on that so people don't think that you and I are just, like, talking bad about Aladdin. Like, why are they horrible people, Gavin?
All right, so let's start with the Sultan. He has no idea what the hell is going on. Actually, him and Jasmine have no idea what the hell is going on in Agrabah. People are getting their hands chopped off, their children starving all over. Like, people are just filthy and dying in the streets and whatnot. It's a horrible place to live, from my understanding. You know, like, and they're just completely fine in their palace, just all willy-nilly, just worried about getting married. Another thing too, so Jafar obviously is an evil character. Jasmine's like 15, turning 16 in the film, and he's just like pursuing her religiously throughout the film, which is really weird. That's another thing to think about. Aladdin, people say like, oh, he's a liar and a thief, blatantly throughout the entire film.
Yeah, street rat, scoundrel, I won't buy that. Yeah, he's supposed to be, you're supposed to feel that disconnect with him. He's a troublemaker. He's yeah, and so that means he did his job. And Jasmine being 16, I have no idea how to defend that because of the time frame for when it was, that makes sense. But for today's culture, it's like, no, cancel that. But like, I'm like,
well, most Disney princesses were like 14 to 16.
I agree. I think that Aladdin is a very good depiction, and my biggest thing is I'm jealous I, A, don't have a genie, and B, I don't have a pet lion, and C, the only way
why would you want a pet lion?
I'm going to rebuttal you with why not.
They're horrifically expensive.
Okay.
First off. and they're not puppy dogs. And little lions grow into big lions. You know how much time you'd have to spend with a lion for it to be what you want it to be?
Thank you, Crystal Wolf. I see your comment there. Yes, you are right. Tiger. It is a tiger, not a lion.
Oh, yeah.
And people did die earlier than they do now. And so here's my thing. I would like a pet tiger.
You can get a pet tiger for $3,000. They're not like, to buy a tiger itself isn't expensive. The upkeep for a tiger is.
Right. But like, I have enemies. Like, a lot of people don't like me. You either love me or you hate me. So if my enemies come to hate on me, guess what? I now have a pet lion that's going to protect me. It's way better. Huh?
Tiger.
I have a pet tiger that's going to save me.
Do you think that you could like snap your fingers and points and this tiger will just attack on command?
Yes.
That's not how tigers work.
Oh, you just don't know. You haven't trained. Have you trained a tiger?
No, but I watch Tiger King religiously.
Is that what makes it the justifying thing? It's Tiger King.
Yeah. I've seen Tiger King on Netflix. All right.
I have a right to own a tiger now.
Yeah. So actually, fun horrible fact for you. We're kind of saving tigers by buying them in a sense. So majority of the tigers in the world live in captivity, and majority of the tigers in captivity live in Texas.
Yeah. Actually, Ohio it has a bunch too. That's why we were on the Tiger King.
Yes, Ohio does have a lot, but majority of the tigers in the world live in Texas in captivity.
I love Jessica Dugas, the Breakthrough Show. She goes, that's what makes you an expert right there, watching the Tiger King. Yeah. Carol Baskin killed her husband.
Yeah, I know tigers are not something to mess with.
Were there Christians in Aladdin? Let's say hello to people, and we'll tap that subject and jump into our articles. And that way we get into our day and start it. We did come in a little bit late today. Our guests are going to be on it from 11 to 12 our time. We're helping get our West Coast people a chance to jump in as well. Yes. Guys, do us a favor. Hit that like, share, and comment button. It's not that we want you guys to do it for our health. It helps our algorithm, and that's a way of showing support without having to put any money towards us. So please, like, comment, share, spread love, spread positivity with us, because we're honored to be doing this for you guys. Stuart, Lone Wolf, Scott, okay, Renee Bush. All right, you're up.
Oh, the Breakthrough Morning Show, Paige Monster, Crystal Wolf, and Tokyo Bento.
Boom. I see Paige Monster. Did you get Paige Monster? Did I just not
I did get Paige Monster. Second person I got, Brandon.
I have to be honest. I was looking at the comments. I apologize. Were Christians in Aladdin? I don't know. Were they?
I don't think there was much of any religious aspects in Aladdin at all. No, even like Hindu or Buddhism was really presented in that. It actually did a really good job at staying pretty neutral as far as any sort of type of beliefs or religions went. The only thing that I do remember is the Sultan at one point says to the tiger, or may Allah never grant you any daughters, because he got in an argument with Jasmine. So he referenced Allah, but he pronounced it like Allah or something like that. It was weird.
Who did you relate to the most in Aladdin? Like, if you could pick one character, and if you say the genie, I'm going to slap you, because you're not taking a great Robin Williams character like that, because he's just the best of all of them. So you have to pick another one.
So I can't pick the genie, and who I'd have to relate to. I
have a question while you think for Jessica Dugas, just for the comments. Jessica Dugas, they said it a few times in there. I don't believe you have TVs in your house. How do you know what Aladdin says? You have to see the movie to be able to do that, but you don't have TVs in your house.
Well, they can stream on anything that's a screen and connected to the internet now.
I agree with you, Gavin, but you get my point. The Aladdin wasn't screenable a few years ago.
It wasn't screenable? What was that? Screenable?
Yep,
so
screenable.
How do we watch it on a TV then?
But digital.
A TV screen?
Yep. On the screen through
but it wasn't screenable. Wake up, Brandon.
Dude, I'm exhausted. I don't know why. I'm so like, I was on Jessica's thing, like not actually on it. I was sitting here and just like playing, like doing emails and commenting in the background. And she's sitting there talking on stuff and I'm writing responses and all that. I could have been talking to myself. I was so tired. I was like just sitting there. This is my third cup of coffee because I can't wake up today. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think there are any characters that I really could relate to in Aladdin. I think that, I think that's part of my problem. Like, there are like certain like character aspects that I can relate to, like, you know, like feeling trapped now and again. Like, yeah, I've been able to relate to that, you know. And I will admit, you know, like there's been times in life where like I've been like greedy or like wish that I had more like money and stuff like that. Not so much now anymore. I'm doing my best to like kind of step away from materialistic stuff. Like anything nice that I have, I usually got from a thrift store or Wish or something like that. So it's not nearly worth what you think it is. But overall, is like say like an actual like a specific character that I really relate to. I don't think there is one. I can like pull little bits and pieces from each one, but there isn't one character I'm like, yes, that's me. That's my spirit animal. That's my zodiac. Like, no.
Right. I actually love Tokyo Bento's comment right here. It says that he says he'd be the flying rug.
I thought that one too.
I think that was absolutely perfect. I think it's like that's a great representation because the truth is, as funny as that is, think about this. Without the rug, they would not have any that he would not be able to do any of his touring. He'd not be able to go his touring. My God, am I tired? They would not be able to do any of his
Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to look like he committed suicide in front of Jasmine when he jumped off the balcony.
As much as I agree with you, yes. Yeah. That is not the representation I was going with, but I think it's absolutely hysterical that that's the one you did. Do you know the scene there, the significance of that scene? That there's a line in there that with the genie being a bee in the old version. It's really inappropriate, and if you have the VHS, you can find it.
No, I don't recall it.
So right when he steps off and Aladdin falls and you think he committed suicide, the genie's in his ear as a bee going, hey, yo, you gotta have faith, you gotta do it the right way. And all of a sudden he leans in and it says, as he's being lifted up, all little boys take off your clothes. Now here's the thing. It was a Disney rumor that this happened. But if you have one of the old VHSs, you could actually put it on and it's clear as day. Like I've seen it. There's even a thing on YouTube about it. Like, I mean, it's funny. Like, it's like, I shouldn't say funny. It's just weird how that plays out like that, you know?
Yeah. But it's comical in an outrageous, obscene sense.
Yes.
Yes. Like oh my God, haha, this is weird, so I'm going to laugh through it.
Right? Well, when you're a kid, you don't hear it. You're not catching those little quick one-liners like that. But as an adult, if you're watching that movie, unless you're paying attention, you really didn't catch it. So it's just interesting. But yeah. Good morning, Sherry McQueen. I see you in there saying hello. Good morning. Good to see you. All right. Gavin, you ready? If you pull my article up, I'll read in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it. So affordable housing landlord starts eviction fund and is shocked, raising $9 million that kept 3,000 families in their homes. This is just a great story for everybody. So when Marjorie Stagmeyer was 11 years old, she was the Monopoly champion of her 6th grade class in Atlanta, Georgia. She knew right then and there she wanted to be the landlord when she grew up. And what a compassionate landlord she became. After graduating from Georgia State University, she started with investing in old, affordable apartment communities and quickly realized that many of her renters' families were low-income single parents who needed services like after-school programs and playgrounds for their communities. In response for the demand of social services, Marjorie launched her own 501c3 nonprofit that provided free on-site services to families living in affordable apartment communities. And Star C, the name of her nonprofit, has since become a godsend for families. Many children have come through the Star C after school program who are now doctors, plumbers, and school teachers themselves, earning good wages that move them out of the poverty line. She told the GNN, I'm guessing that's Georgia News Network. Almost 100 families have elevated from renting to home ownership because we kept rents low so families could save their money. A chance meeting in 2017 with Bill and Melinda Gates, Matthew Desmond, author of Pulitzer Prize-winning book Evicted, opened her eyes. Even with her rents below market value, some of the tenants struggled to pay rent, so she began to build an informal resource network for families to get rental assistance. After COVID-19 struck in March 2020, many of Marjorie's tenants were laid off from their jobs or had to manage multiple children that were suddenly at home during the day, which made it an even greater need. So in April, Starcy launched an ambitious GoFundMe campaign for eviction relief funding. And the response not only shocked Marjorie when they raised nearly $50,000, but adding icing to the cake, the local municipal government of Cobb County found out about the Starcy eviction fund and quickly voted to donate $1.5 million of their federal stimulus funding over the municipalities of Fulton County, followed by the Starcy, and raised over $9 million in government funds for the ability to help over 3,000 families to avoid eviction. Marjorie's staff has spoken personally with thousands of Atlanta families throughout the hotline and has so far partnered with 330 landlords representing 65,000 apartment units. The Eviction Relief Fund works with landlords who offer affordable rents for low-income houses, Marjorie says. Our landlords know their neediest tenants and assist them with their applications. This is an absolutely astonishing article. It ends with, if their tenants and their children are stable in their community, it's a win-win for everyone, including the tenant, child, landlord, and their local school. To help by donating to this, it's Marjorie's nonprofit here, or you could go directly to their website, which I will share a link on in 1 second. But absolutely one of the coolest things. It's
copy and paste this really quick.
Whoop.
Do you got it?
It's not letting me comment. I'll have to go through Facebook and comment.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say wayo. Sorry, ADD kicked in there. Right. Go ahead, buddy. I'm listening.
Hopefully that added the link. Oh, maybe not. Phooey.
We're both trying to paste it, and neither of us are getting it. And then Facebook overtakes. All right, skipping over. I'll take care of that. You jump into your article, my friend. I'm excited to hear what you have today.
Okay. Really quick, I want to talk about that article. I feel like, seeing stuff like that, and when we find articles like these pretty often, I feel like people who have access to either directly or indirectly, like the government had to indirectly they had to vote on it, or people indirectly in the situation where she was able to affect the prices of rents at her establishment. I feel like people who have that sort of access to these funds and the price of everything truly want to help people. They just, a lot of the time, aren't sure where to apply the money. Like if I had all of a sudden, $5 billion, and everyone on Facebook would say things like, oh, help end world hunger, or help stop this, that, and the other. It's like, okay, those are great ideas. But I know, me personally, just seeing that at first, I wouldn't know exactly how or where. And so it probably, if I were to donate, it would go to like one of the most popular kind of charities, like St. Jude's or something like that, where like a good part, like that's where I would end up going to, just because I know that. But if we start working on ways to make it more, I guess, accessible, or be more creative with how we can do things like making rents lower and stuff like that, that people would actually donate a lot more if they knew what their options were in front of them. And if they also saw the effects of it too. I feel like that's another big part of it. You see someone at the Salvation Army, they're ringing the bell, and you throw in a couple dollars into that, you feel good for a minute, but you don't actually see what the effects of that are. I feel like we'd want to donate a lot more if we saw the people that we were affecting and how their lives improve at least a little bit from our contributions.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that having people be able to during this pandemic, people not only lost their jobs, but you saw people's families get flipped upside down. You go from being a mom that maybe a single mom that works 2-3 jobs to all of a sudden you're being a mom that has kids at home and no way of doing anything. That having a landlord that wants to build you in low income areas, the opportunity for your kids to get playgrounds, assistance for when you're at work and all this stuff. That's huge. And landlords don't have to take that care of that. But I think reminding ourselves that we're all in this together, and maybe I got a better helping hand at the start, and that's just how life played for me, but not remembering others that aren't as fortunate are the hardest part. We need to make sure we keep that going.
I think landlords should invest in their tenants a little bit more, just because, one, I'm sure she got a lot more business too, a lot more people moving in from these low income people saying to their friends, hey, the landlord lady, she's extremely nice, rents is low, don't screw this place up, don't trash it or anything, come here, be respectful, take care of it, do your best, and she will help you improve your life.
So as much as I agree with you, I think it's a combination of things. It's self-pride. You have to believe in yourself. You have to be proud of where you live enough that you want to take care of it. And that's just loving yourself. Stuart says, I generally donate to smaller charities. More of the money goes where it's needed rather than running a corporation. Many mainstream charities skim off a lot of the operation expenses and salaries. And the truth be told, I'm going to give you guys a little tidbit here. Guidestone.org is a nonprofit, and you can a nonprofit that 501c3s have to register for. You can actually go look up federally legal and see any nonprofit and what their money's going to, how it's going, and where it's being spent. Right. So that way you know where you want your money to be going. So if you go put your money into the Red Cross and Tokyo Bento says, you see that they're taking it off to be able to for operation costs and salaries, and they say that's what they need. But you're at an event where they're doing something that you thought you were donating to something else. They're taking that off because of you saw it on Guidestone. So do yourself a favor and give that a check out before you donate somewhere, so you're giving to something you truly believe in that matches your values. I think that's what was that address? Guide, Guide, Stone, STONE.org.
Yeah.
So Gavin, now it's your article. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Don't do that again.
It's my Velociraptor.
It's awful.
We have the Jessosaurus Rex as one of our people. I could be the Crotchoraptor.
Oh, stop it! Get out of here, you bastard.
Oh, the dog just jumped at me too.
Good.
All right, I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Jeez Christ. Fog catching tower could supply water to the world's driest megacity using the ocean air. We have done it. Man has done it.
We did it.
We don't know. You don't understand. There is not a water issue on planet Earth. The damn thing is blue. All right? There is a salt issue. And we have figured it out.
Go on.
Look at this thing. What are those called? The churro. This big churro looking thing. All right.
A churro.
Yeah. How can a megacity find water for 10 million people if it exists in the deserts? Fog-catching nets erected on the hills over the city in Lima could solve the city's water shortage for good. A 20-meter high, 60 feet tower spiraling net will unveil this summer in the city of the solution to the threat of which the warming climate possesses to the shaky foundations of the water availability in Lima. Aside from glacial runoffs in the Andes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, what happened?
I don't know. What happened?
Oh no. Go back.
That's actually funny.
Yeah. I'm still learning how to use this computer. It's very sensitive. And water from so aside from glacial runoffs in the Andes and water from the stress Rimic River, Peru's capital city accumulates just 1 inch of rain in a year. The city sees high annual temperatures and water consumption rates, despite being located in the desert, are higher than the world average. However, this unique feature of the Lima's weather offers a way of relieving some of this demand situated on the coast. Lima's surrounding hills are constantly bathed in waves of fog coming off the Pacific Ocean. The moisture captured by the plants ensures they stay green year-round. Inspired by rudimentary two-dimensional fog nets installed by royal communities across the continent. Alberto Fernandez, a Chilean designer currently studying for a PhD from the University College London, wanted to extrapolate.
It's my but here, ready? Hold on. Ready, buddy? We're gonna take a deep breath in.
Yeah.
Reset. It's no embarrassment. I stumbled over my words.
Oh, I'm not embarrassed at all.
I know how I feel when I read out loud.
Doing things, yeah.
Do you know how many times I read that article before we went live? 3. Do you know why? Because I didn't want to look like a fool, because I get so caught up in my own head when reading out loud. Sorry to interrupt, but you're doing great, buddy. Keep it up, Gavin.
I never pre-read my articles. It's always a cold read. So one to extrapolate. That doesn't sound right.
Extra Chipotle, got it.
Extra Chipotle, the technology in its most sophisticated conclusion, because while the nets had major flaws, their basic principles were brilliant. The towers and fog-catching nets unveiled by Fernandez are made of aluminum wrap and copper mesh covered by plastic, and could create as much as 1,000 liters of water per day, amounting to 3.6 million liters per year if enough are installed. The tower structure allows them to get into the clouds, collecting more virtual water vapor, and their spiral shape means that no water will directly, or no matter the direction of the wind, the moisture-rich fog will strike some part of the structure directly. That's why it's a spiral. Interesting. The water will largely be used for agriculture, as the water would require filtering before consumption, helping free up resources from city dwellers. Cheaper than seawater desolate. No.
You're good. I can't see it.
Yeah. Desalination?
Where highlight the word for me. Oh.
Ooh, I can do like fancy look up things.
Yeah, if you highlight it, Google will tell you, but I say keep reading. Desolation or filtering water from the
Desalination, maybe.
Desalination.
Yeah, say it with confidence. The people will believe it. Cheaper than water, desalination.
Desalination. All right, there we go. Go on.
Or filtering water from the Remic. The towers and nets, which Fernandez said could build up to 200 meters high, are part of the myriad of design of the Lima 2035 project. Let's see. Ooh, I got a little video here.
Perfect.
Let me stop this real quick, and then I'll reshare it with some sound. I always forget to do sound.
You do.
Yeah. But this is awesome because everybody's always freaking out. Ooh, thank you, Tokyo Bento. Desalination. I appreciate it, Bento.
I appreciate it, Tokyo.
Tokyo's the man.
Tokyo, he's like, here, guys, I'll help you learn how to read. Hooked on phonics, work for Tokyo.
Yeah, English is hard, you know? All right.
Too funny. What? So, wait, all right, there we go. Coastal fog harvesting
towers. Coastal fog harvesting towers is a project that seeks to develop a fog and rain capturing system. To achieve this goal, the vertical foldable supporting structure is designed by analog and digital fabrication. I love this music. Ooh,
That
that
was
was interesting. This system is built on a custom wood frame which contains a spiral net as water vapors continue, catching water, mist, and rain, precipitating from up to 300 liters of water from rain. This is a lot to read real fast. It catches rain, and it makes it drinkable-ish. You can't really drink, you gotta filter it.
The structure is joined by 3D printed contractors in ABS plastic and reinforced by later cut metal plates.
The building is 10 meters high, prototype tower in the Chilean coastal central area. So they pop up. They're little pop-up things.
And look at how it drains right into that.
Yeah.
And it was a 3D printer that did it. We hope to contribute with our design. With customized 3D printed inner structural in the next stages of development. That is really cool. That is really innovative. That is really cool.
That's cheap. Cheap to make, too.
Do you know
as
who'd
much
be
as I'm
really...
loving the music.
Oh, yeah. You know who'd be really good at that? Actually, do me a favor. Is Stovetop Yum Yum in our background? I can't see anything today.
She is. Yeah, she is.
Let's bring her in for a quick check-in to see how everything's going, Miss Stovetop. I love the apron. You look so good today.
Thank
Red
you.
is a good color. Red's a good color on you.
Thank you. How you guys doing?
Good. Is today Carlito's birthday?
No, it was yesterday, Easter Sunday.
I was ready to sing happy birthday to him live on air. And I know we don't do that anymore, but I was going to do it because Carlitos, he's a kid. He turned 13. He's finally able to take adult medicines. I was all about it.
Yeah.
Oh, too funny.
I know.
So tell us, Miss Stovetop, what are you making today?
Today I am making my version of green shakshuka.
What is shakshuka?
Shakshuka is a Middle Eastern brunch, which it's mainly Egypt, Pakistan, Israel, and Northern Africa. And what it consists of today, what I'm going to use is spinach, fresh spinach, some baby tomatoes. I'm going to slice an onion. I have caraway seeds. I have fresh dill to garnish. I've got some delicious harissa. I also have some cumin. So once I lay all this beautiful concoction with spinach in my pan, I will also garnish with a delicious avocado. Although we all know that avocados are a big surprise. You never know when you cut it open what it's going to look like. So I'll cross my fingers. I'll cross my fingers. And we're going to dress that on top with 4 delicious sunny side up eggs.
Ooh,
that sounds awesome.
This sounds good. Okay, wait. I have 2 questions. What was the thing you said before the cumin?
Caraway seeds.
I have no idea what that is.
Caraway seeds are they're caraway seeds.
How do you want us to further simplify that for you, Brandon?
It's very similar to thyme. It's very woody. It's just, oh my God, it's so delicious. When you combine this with the earthiness, it's very woody. Then you have that earthiness, the smokiness of the cumin. It's just so incredible. What I'll do is toast some in my pan before I start. And then that you can smell that woodiness when you start smoking it. That's what really brings the flavor out of it. I didn't Google what it actually is. I apologize.
So you know the caraway plants? It's the seeds of those.
Right. That's correct. The seeds of the caraway plant. Thank you.
Yeah.
But what my thing is how much do you know to use? Do you use a pinch or do you just go like, ha ha?
No, these ingredients, these spices are very, very potent. So I wouldn't use more than a teaspoon. More than a teaspoon of this and a teaspoon of the cumin. I don't have fresh shaved Parmigiano today, so I'm going to use some grated, and that's fine. Use some grated Parmigiano to add a little bit of saltiness. So keep in mind, this dish is very, very good as far as it has fiber. It has vitamin C from the tomatoes, from the avocado. We have the eggs are our protein. So guys, today we are going to eat delicious. Not only that, but I have a surprise as well. I'm going to toast a piece of naan bread. Yum. So we're going to accompany it with some naan bread.
Naan bread? What is a naan bread? Isn't bread bread? How can it be a naan?
No.
You stay out of
N-A-N.
No, Naan. Naan. And this is an Indian bread that they make in those big clay pots of fire they have where they grab it and just stick it. You seen that before?
I have.
The dough?
Where they're like, and you have to sing during it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds racist the way I did it, but I'm not trying to be. I'm like, wait, there's a way to do this.
It's like a pita bread, yeah.
Right. Similar to pita. Similar, yeah.
Oh, wow. None of your business, Brandon. Thank you, Breakthrough Show. You're breaking my heart. So Stovetop is you videoed yesterday and did a thing. How was your Easter and Carlito's birthday before we jump into Brett Gordon and come back to you in a little bit to see how things are going?
Oh, it was wonderful. Thank you for asking. I rented an entire auditorium at the movie theater just for us. So
really?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was 10 of us. So what I did was we all came in. I accommodated everyone with the concessions and with the popcorn. I pre-ordered everything. Yeah. And we watched Raya and the Last Dragon. And that is totally a grown-up movie, and it's a cartoon. It was incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. It was great. Was that Pixar or was that Disney?
Disney, yes.
Okay. Well, I noticed because I remember Pixar did Soul, and that was a cartoon, but that was a very grown-up movie. That had a lot of very mature, difficult to grasp concepts for younger audiences. So that's interesting that they've started to go in that direction. I wonder if they feel like with Frozen and whatnot, they have years of material to hold on to the new generation. Now they're trying to bring back the older generations a bit with these more adult films.
Yes.
Sounds right.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I'll be on Disney Plus tonight watching Soul, since you mentioned that, and we wanted to watch that. We had a great weekend, Brandon. Just a quick note for you guys. Carlito had a great birthday weekend, is what I call it. Friday night we watched Kong versus Godzilla, which was off the chain. I'm not even going to say anything, but it was epic. Whoever has not watched it needs to.
Yeah, I saw it last night.
Oh my God, isn't it epic? It's off the chain. I thought it was. We have.
I can understand why people would really enjoy it. I personally wanted a different outcome.
Oh God, I was so impressed. I disagree with you, and of course it's all about opinions. And my opinion is that it was just absolutely epic. It wasn't expected. I did not expect that, but anyway,
it was fun to watch. Absolutely, I wanted a different ending.
Yeah, it was incredible. Well, I love the ending. But anyway, on another note, so we did the Saturday movie theater. Yesterday I did work 10 to 7. My son, my 23-year-old son, gave Carlito a gaming PC. So I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with all that, because this kid has so many machines in this room that I don't even know. I have to move and just get a bedroom for that. So
yeah,
he doesn't know what to do with himself. So now he's playing with the PC, and then it's just – but anyway – well, he had a great birthday yesterday. I had a big bag for him in the morning. I gave him the option of yesterday having candy and stuff, which I never do. He has his braces, and he's having a lifestyle change as well. Yeah. So keep in mind, guys, this is a lifestyle change, but this is a delicious dish. Mm-hmm. Healthy can be delicious, and this is from the Middle East. And when I come back, you guys, these things are going to be chopped up. I'll be on my pan, and I will see you guys soon.
I love it.
Stovetop, love you, girl. You are doing it. Keep bringing good stuff. Gavin, let's bring on our Motivational Monday person, Mr. Brett Gordon.
Hey, good morning.
There he is.
How you doing today?
What's going on, Brett? How you been?
I am doing great, and I will have none of that. That's how
I see what you did there.
None.
But no. So, so Mr. Brett Gordon, how are you doing, my friend? How was your Easter?
Easter was actually really good, and it was an opportunity for me to actually kind of open up my mind a little bit more. In listening to conversations of my sister and a friend of mine, really talking about how the church helps them and how they've got all these different support groups and hotlines and things like that to help people. And in fact, my friend, she actually is one of the volunteers for those hotlines, 24-hour hotlines, where it could be something just as simple as calling to hear a friendly voice, to say a prayer with you, or to deal with some more challenging issues depending on what it is. We've got this huge church in Vegas called Central Christian Church, and it's televised worldwide. So she said they get calls from India, they get calls from all around the world that oftentimes come into this 24-hour hotline. Anyhow, they were talking about these things, and as you guys know, but not everybody else knows, I'm not really religious. But opening it, listening to the conversation, what it really did is it tied into the way I look at the world, and I believe in people.
Yeah.
I believe people create miracles. I believe that it's through people that we're going to resolve the issues of the world. It's not really a divine intervention that's going to make it happen. It is through the efforts of many that we start to generate this energy, this frequency, this resonates across larger and larger groups, and then eventually around the world it's going to make a change. And I think that we're at a turning point in the world where a lot of things have to come out in order to be addressed.
Yeah.
So it was a good weekend. Spent the other part of my weekend, like 13 hours, working on the backyard of my house, and I've got a big koi pond back there, and I designed the whole backyard actually for my parents when I moved them in, so that it took a backyard, which in Vegas, a lot of our yards are just rock and a couple plants or whatever.
Sand and whatnot.
Yeah, and I put in a walking path and that kind of stuff, and fountains, and there's a ton of water, 3 waterfalls, and so forth in the backyard.
Nice.
Because my mom had kind of a stroke or an incident where she had to. I changed my home to be handicap accessible, and then I moved them into my house, and that was kind of my idea for a way to recover or go through, kind of the exercise that you need to do.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, go ahead. What are you going to say?
So you totally killed the joke I was going to do. I'm like, hey, did you hear that? 3 waterfalls. And I'm holding up 3 for Gavin to get ready for me to make a joke. And then Brett's like, oh, my mom. And he brings up a serious topic about his mom and why he's doing it. And I'm like, never mind.
But time and place, Brandon.
Right? I'm like, can't make any jokes. So, Brett, you are here. You are a motivational guy. You are bringing leadership and helping us bring our best selves forwards. It's Monday. I'm super excited you're here. You and I do a show together called One Square at a Time, where we help people develop their best leadership styles. Teach me today. What are you coming in to teach everybody? What are we learning today? And how can we put our best self positive as leaders? Well,
I'm going to kind of go along with, what happened, Easter and so forth, and the whole, he has risen, and, and actually I am confirmed Protestant and all that kind of stuff. Did I really learn a whole lot about the Bible and all that? No. Do I know a little bit about it? Yes. Anyhow, he has risen, he died on the cross. They put him in a cave, essentially buried him, put a big rock around it. But then, in 3 days, he arose from the dead. The rock was gone. He got out, right? You look like you're cracking up.
I read Jessica's comment, my leadership style, in 2 words, inspirational squirrel. And all I can I'm picturing her holding her little squirrel that she does on her morning show.
Hey, that reminds me of Secret Squirrel, which is a comic I used to watch as a kid on TV. Secret Squirrel. It is really pretty cool. But anyhow, so the way I look at this is that we have to forgive ourselves in order to really be able to grow and allow ourselves out of our own cave, our own mental cave, our own spiritual cave, is to first of all forgive ourselves. Mm-hmm. We cannot lead other people in helping them to better their lives as much as we could if we haven't cleared ourselves. And guess what? We never will clear everything. So don't fault yourself for those types of things. Don't be so self-judgmental that you're holding yourself back. And recognize that you need to the first team, the first person as a leader, as an individual that you need to forgive is me, myself, and I. Mm-hmm. And there's many things that we blame ourselves for. There's many things that we hold ourselves accountable that are not even within our control. We're not within our control. There's things that happen to us as kids. There's things that happen to us as adolescents, as adults, where we blame ourselves for what happened, and oftentimes we didn't have anything to do with it. You have those victims that also feel guilt and feel that they were responsible. You have people that had somebody in their life that was close to them that had an incident, and they're like, oh, if only I was there, it's my fault for not being there. And then they become their own worst judge in terms of holding themselves accountable for things that they shouldn't have held accountable. And even those things that we were accountable for, our actions, which we are accountable for, we still need to recognize that we need to forgive ourselves in order to be able to move forward. If we take the learnings from those and then use those learnings to help ourselves so that we can then help others and provide examples of how not to run into the same problem, create the same challenge that we may have had, to create the same beliefs that have held us back. If we can help just one other person to overcome that without necessarily having to go through that same level of pain or trauma, that's fantastic, because that one person then will intentionally or unintentionally pass that along to the people that they know and that they touch. And as I always say, our life and our everlasting legacy is built around how we interact with others. And the very first people that we need to interact with is me, myself, and I.
Yeah. So
we need to be able to roll back that stone to be able to get out of the cave that oftentimes we bury ourselves in. And you can do it either, and going back into kind of one square at a time and using kind of superheroes to describe it, you can either do it the Bruce Banner way, the scientist, using a fulcrum. And if you use a fulcrum, give me a big enough fulcrum and I can move the world type thing.
Yeah.
Or you can come out and be the Hulk, and you can have the strength of 1,000 men and push that rock out of the way. And you have to judge which way you need to deal with that. And oftentimes it's kind of, how we've built ourselves as we've grown to our adulthood. Go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt you. I was waiting. That's just my way of waiting, but not forgetting. It's like tying a rope around your finger. I lost a whole finger doing that once, so but in all seriousness, it's one of these things where you have to look internally, wouldn't you say? You have to look at yourself. It might not. I was talking to a friend over Easter, and they were telling me things that happened with their family, and they're like, "This is why I hate the holidays." And I wrote back like, "Okay, so what did you do that was different that showed you were being different, that you weren't letting what normally influences?" Like at Christmas with my family, I would come into it expecting to be yelled at by both my parents to go set up Christmas decorations. Dad wants me outside, mom wants me inside. I'm the only boy. So for me, they're both like, "Hey, carry this everywhere." And I'm like, okay, doesn't work like that. And I had to learn to set different boundaries, but that took me stepping out of it and saying, "Hey, I'm actually helping dad right now. Hey, I'm actually helping mom." And sometimes we let other people's just life overtake our own anxieties. And that's where you have to learn to step back and look at yourself. Yeah. When you take that bird's eye view and you're not in your own self, that self-love is being able to look at what the problem really is, love yourself again, and then be able to find the answer. And I think that is a crucial thing. You said earlier, he is risen. And that's a big saying around this time. But I think that we all have that, as you said, that rock in front of us. Now, it might not be perfectly round like the Bible makes us think it is, but at the end of the day, you're able to find that light in you. And when you're in that dark cage, you're able, or dark cave, you're able to find that light and get it to start shining. That's your light. That's when you're able to move the stone out of your way. So it's not just he is risen over this time. She's saying the exact same thing. We have to create the joy within. You can't just have hate for the holidays. Wow. I hated the holidays for years, and then this year was my best holidays ever. I came into it completely open-minded, completely to my family, and said, "Look, last Christmas, I wanted to stay away from you guys. You guys just kept yelling at everybody and wanting things, and it was material. And I love my family. Please know we are very close. But at the same point, it was a very uncomfortable situation with our families. Yeah. And learning those boundaries of you're mad at something that's not me, to them knowing to me knowing I'm not mad at them for something and bring it to the situation. It's a big thing. You got to have proper boundaries, and they're important as hell, as Bridget Kistler said. But at the same point, you have to know what you believe in. You have to know your boundaries. And with this, moving a stone out of your way is essential. It's not, Brett said it before the show, and I'm going to steal his thunder a little bit here. It's not he is risen, it's we are risen. Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm in good shape for the most part. I'm not Gavin sexy, but you know, I do my best. But my thing is, oh yeah, by the way, Gavin sent me a bunch of selfies for an event we're going to be in together. And he goes, "Hey, do these headshots count?" But you never should have sent those to me. Oh my God, I'm having so much fun. I'm making videos with your face in it, Gavin. Like, hey, are you having a rough day?
Yeah, I sent some. Did I send you the screenshot of how she responded to those?
No. Oh no. I'm sorry I got you involved. Sorry guys. I got Gavin signed up to do Squirrel. Squirrel. What's your leadership style? Leading squirrels. We go everywhere. Yeah. We're nuts.
Yep. We're knucking futz.
But Gavin got involved with my parents' old neighbor who moved to Nevada or to New Orleans, and they're catering the NFL draft here in Cleveland, the VIP room. And Gavin is signed up to be one of the waiters with me and his girlfriend. I feel so bad because the lady that's running this with him, she started texting everybody at 2:30 in the morning, confirming everybody's information in a group
she put us
chat.
in a damn group text.
Do you know the worst part about that, Gavin? Sorry, I'm going to distract us. Is the fact that she literally did this at 2:30 in the morning, and you and I are responding, trying to like warn everybody, like, hey, yeah, we're good. Just stop texting. Yeah. Like, we're being nice. What does she do? She keeps going. And then I find out my sister, her boyfriend, 2 very close family friends. That's 4 people right there. None of them knew about these messages and what's going on. So this lady is completely like, she has like so many groups going and she doesn't know what's going on. I feel so bad for everybody.
Oh
but
my
it's
God.
been fun because you were getting flirted with, you were getting hit on, and then she makes fun of your fiance for her selfie. And you send it to me and I'm cracking up. She's like, look at what this girl sent me. And you're like, yeah, that's my fiance.
Yeah. She's like, oh, is she evil? I don't think I showed Crystal that actually. I want her
Is
to
she
feel bad.
evil?
Yeah,
Is
is she evil? I should have said yes. It's real like, well, she's sweet to me, but she'll kill anybody who flirts with me. Like something like that.
Yep. Anybody older than a certain age, she doesn't like talking to me.
Yeah.
So, Brett, back to you. Sorry, the squirrel came in and ran through us really quick.
Oh no!
You know, it kind of goes back, kind of pulling it back. It's self-fulfilling prophecies.
Oh, I love you. You're not evil. She Crystal's okay. So in her selfie,
who did I tell you in the middle of work? Who did I tell you both? Who does your girl remind me of?
Hell if I know. I don't remember.
Morticia Adams. And I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Like, to a T, Crystal, that is a high compliment. You are an amazingly beautiful woman. And this lady was in her own world. Don't worry about her. But I'm dying because, like, Crystal is Morticia Adams.
She is. She most definitely is, to the T. But also, Crystal was in the middle of a very busy work shift. She had just gotten on break when she sent that video or that selfie into there. So she just looked infuriated on top of being just like stone cold beautiful is the best way to describe her, because she's very, very pretty, but she'll also just look through you. Not even into your soul, she'll look through it. Mm-hmm. So when she sent me that, it made me laugh.
So, Mr. Gordon, we are talking about you building our leadership, and I'm going to bring the squirrel back into the cage. Yeah. But you were talking about how our leadership is and having it be we are risen to build up our best selves. Tell us a little more about that, and before we bring our guest in for the day and all that. Thank you for being here, by the way, Mr. Gordon. You are amazing, and we're grateful for you.
Hey, love being here, and chasing squirrels is part of my day as well, so I completely understand. So, you know, what I really want to bring out, and it kind of goes along with what you were just saying, is that, you know, self-fulfilling prophecies. When you say, going to a family event, and you're going to the family event dreading it because you've already got these preconceived notions of what the whole thing is going to be about. You're bringing in this energy. You're bringing in this self-fulfilling prophecy that when something does happen, even though it may not be an intentional thing, or even if it was, it's going to trigger a response in you immediately because you came in with this energy. If you came in with a different energy and that same thing happened, it wouldn't have the same impact on you. Yeah. It wouldn't put you, it would either take you out of your cave or put you back in your cave. Mm-hmm. It will either make you happy or it can make you enraged. Mm. Yeah. So we need to be very careful, and we need to bring the best person that we are to everything that we do in life. Now, granted, we can't always be the saint or anything like that, but self-fulfilling prophecies are really probably the primary reason that we trigger into outrageous actions at times, inappropriate actions at times, or to bring to the table our very best to be able to help others. It's all in our internal intention as we're going into something. If we start each day with a shitty attitude, anything that happens is going to just trigger and reinforce that. You're going to say, I knew it when I woke up today. I walked out of the bed and I kicked the damn table next to me. I knew it was going to be a bad day. And then everything that happens is just reinforcing that. If you walked in there and said, oh man, I kicked the table. Okay, that just reminds me to pay more attention to what's going on. And then somebody cuts in front of you on the highway and you're like, gosh, it's actually a good thing I kicked the table because I was paying more attention now because I said that this morning. It
Correct.
all depends on really where we're coming from and our energies. So control your energies. Look at yourself as a team. And again, the first team to manage is me, myself, and I. That's also the hardest team that you're ever going to find to manage. So bring that to the table every single day. Think about how to turn something from a negative mindset to a positive mindset, especially in the morning. And you can actually do exercises to do that in the morning. And you're training your brain to just look at things in a brighter light as opposed to a dim. And then we are able to look at the rest of the day through, if you want to call it, rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
You can definitely look at things in a much more empowering fashion.
So can I want to ask a question on this, and this is for everybody. This is not just me. This is for me to build my best me. You're telling us when you start your day with that positive way of going, it's like starting your day and be like, I'm exhausted and stuff like that. You're starting it in a total, there was no coffee there. Just so, did I do a good job fake drinking?
You did.
Thank you.
You forgot to swallow, but it's okay.
Whoa.
That's what she said. But so I know, leave me alone, okay? The joke didn't land. So with people starting their day in a positive mindset, how do you set that first boundary, set that first barrier? Like this morning, I woke up at 6 a.m. and I have to be honest, I was so exhausted. I hit snooze, and I can't hit snooze because my schedule is regimented for me.
Yeah.
And if I hit snooze, it means I'm missing something. Well, then I woke up and I went and started stretching, and I got stuff going after the snooze went away and all that. And it felt good because it reset my mind. And then when we were backstage here, you guys saw me doing some yoga and stuff to get my body all stretched out and breathing and all that. But my thing is, what is a way of starting yourself in that positive? Because I wake up and I just want to walk downstairs and get a coffee. I don't want to take 5 minutes to breathe. I don't want to take 7 minutes to meditate and try to slow my mind down.
Is that what happens when you get old? You switch from automatic to manual?
Yeah. Well, one thing that you can do that's going to be great is the first thing that changes your energy is to change your physiology. And in the morning, every time we wake up, because you dehydrate over the course of the night, the very first thing you really should do is drink a bottle of water.
Yeah, a glass of water.
Just chug it down, drink it, and rehydrate. And if you get into a ritual of saying, okay, this is the elixir of life, and I'm drinking it down, and the first thing in the morning, you're going to automatically start to feel better because your body's dehydrated, your brain is dehydrated. You're going to immediately change your physiology by taking in that water first thing in the morning. Before your coffee, before whatever else you're going to do, drink the water, and it's going to help to just create a better body chemistry, brain chemistry, that's going to also enable you to be able to look at things in a brighter light. Now, you can go into a lot more exercises after that to put a list together of just the things to be grateful for. Read that every morning, and then start off your day that way because it's going to create a positive mindset to begin with. Even if you wake up groggy or pissed off or whatever because you came out of a bad dream, you had a bad night before you went to sleep, all those types of things affect us. But the first thing is hydrate, and then put together a list of some things that you really need to be happy for. First of all, one of the greatest things for me is I woke up above ground. Hey, if you make the list of what I need to be happy this short and what I need to be sad this long, guess what? You're going to be happy most of your life.
Yeah. So Brett, you've taught us a great thing today, guys. Remember, he is risen. Change that to we are risen, and build your best you, because if you want to find your light in you, building it up to be your best you is important. Brett, are you cool if we check in on Maritza really quick and see how she's doing? You want to see what she's doing?
Yeah.
Is she back?
Do.
I can't control anything. Gavin's running the show. I'm back here just smiling and laughing and looking at comments.
Yep, we're going to check on Maritza, and then we're going to be bringing our guest on.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Miss Yum Yum, how are you?
Good. Our shakshuka is coming along.
Look at that. All right, so tell us really quickly, how is this going? Tell us what you've been doing really quick.
It's going great. I added the harissa. I added the cumin. By the way, the caraway seeds, FYI, that's what they use to make rye bread. And I didn't Google it. I just smelled it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I need to chop some tomatoes, but I'm running out of time. I got somebody here who's going to help me.
Hey, Carlito.
Carlito, you look so much older, buddy. When did you get so old?
Yesterday.
Yeah, you're no longer a teenager. You're
Hey,
now
Brad.
a teenager.
I'm a teenager now.
You look so good, buddy. I want you to know how proud we are to have you on here with us, teaching us things. You are an amazing guy, and I want you to be very proud of who you are. So thank you for joining your mom on this today.
Toasted naan bread. Carlito's going to chop some cherry tomatoes. We're going to throw them in there. Guys, my God is so good. Look at that beautiful avocado. Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Very nice. Very nice.
I will be garnishing, guys. When I come back, I'm going to throw my eggs on the spinach. And when I come back, we are going to plate and taste, and we are going to twerk, baby. Don't want to miss it.
What did I call it? What did we call it yesterday? Your taste twerk?
Yes.
Uh-oh, Tokyo Beno's running out of time.
Uh-oh. No.
But
Gavin, I will read the guest's intro while you get everything ready to bring them in. Sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to send you guys backstage. See you soon.
Bye. Love you, Maritza. Love you, Carlito. So Ben, we have Ben Passman coming on the show today. Ben is a job seeker. It helps job seekers define their core values, visualize their future, and take control of their lives. Ben has more than 15 years experience as a recruiter and the staffing industry. He has placed countless individuals into new jobs. He is a certified life coach and the author of the upcoming book, Who Are You and What Do You Want? It's about more than just finding a job. Ben can share his expertise with an audience on topics related to career management, resume performance, interview skills, and preparing for the job market. More importantly, he can help an audience learn to develop their skills to not only find a new job, but to get into the right. And then my screen stopped. The right them is what I'm going to say.
Sounds good. Everybody, give a warm welcome to Ben Passman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing, Ben?
I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here.
Yes. So you have like a smorgasbord of things that you're doing that all go back to helping people. 15 years as a life coach and a staff in the staffing industry. First off, how did the last year affect everything you've been going through, and how have you been able to find the positive getting through this last year?
Man, that's a great question, because this last year has been crazy. But no crazier than it has been for you or for Gavin or for anybody who's listening, right? It's just been one of those years. I can tell you in my own personal life, I have basically gone from like feeling like I was on track, like I had everything. My life was great. And then one little incident, it all got turned upside down, and it became scrambled eggs and stuff. Yeah. And so I personally have, over the last year, have taken a new job, relocated to a new city, relocated back to my original city, and preparing to think about having to relocate back to the new city again sometime this summer.
My God.
I have all of my kids who at one point were either out of the house or planning to be out of the house, all back in the house. So like my wife and I had like this life plan, and it's not going exactly as we expected, but isn't that what life is, right? Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, the thing that has kept us sort of on track is the fact that we are focused on our goals, that we understand who we are as people, that what, not just where we're from or what we do, but our DNA. Like my wife and I have been going through this process for a very long time of really reaching down and understanding who we are, what makes us get up in the morning and be, productive people. And that then makes it really easy. Once you do that self-reflection and the self-help that you have to do, and all of us have to do it at some level, then it becomes easy to define what you're looking for. And once you know what you're looking for, then I can help you find it, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine if you were walking down the beach and you saw some kid just digging in the sand, just ferociously digging. And you walked up to that kid and you said, "What are you looking for?" And the kid said, "I don't know." Okay, probably just keep on walking.
Yeah,
right.
If the kid said treasure, you might start asking questions. What kind of treasure? Do you have a map? How do you know you're digging here? Do you need a shovel? Let me go get you a shovel, right? That kind of stuff, right? So it's the same thing. I think in life, if you know what you want, then it's easy to ask people for help, and people are willing to help, right? And I'm really glad that Brent was kind of talking about these same concepts that I'm thinking about from a career perspective. He was talking about it more from a spiritual perspective, but you can take these same principles and apply them to your personal life, your career, your spiritual, your financial goals, your family, right? There's every aspect of your life. You can take these same concepts of self-actualization and understanding human psychology, being able to tell the right story at the right time to get somebody to help you do whatever it is you're trying to get done.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. One thing that he mentioned, which I actually really appreciated and like that he said, was he was talking about the Bible, but then he also mentioned that he isn't religious. And that was because I listen to a lot of philosophy podcasts and a lot of scientists on YouTube. When I'm working, I can have an earbud in while I cook in the kitchen. So I'll be cooking and listening to these people talk on these shows, these podcasts. And a lot of them are saying, even though, and myself included, aren't religious, they take a lot of these stories from the Bible and they apply them in a philosophical way, and they interpret it differently to say, this is how you overcome struggles in life. One of the things that I tell a lot of people, I know a lot of givers, a lot of people who take their cup and they pour it into other people's, and then they leave themselves empty. And one thing I tell them, I'm like, well, have you ever flown on a plane? If you have, you'll know that in the beginning, the flight attendant, they'll tell you what happens if there's an issue going on and the masks drop. They say, put on your mask first before you assist other passengers, because you're absolutely useless if you pass out halfway helping somebody else.
Absolutely. I think that touches on the idea that you have to focus on your personal goals. Yeah. And a lot of times people think, well, isn't that selfish, right? I mean, I don't want to be all about me. But if you don't take care of yourself, then it's really hard to take care of others, right? If you're not secure in your own skin, then how do you tell somebody else how to be secure in theirs?
Yeah, no, I think you absolutely should be a little selfish. I think that you should be selfish enough to where all of your needs are met and to where you are progressing. Once your needs are met and you are progressing, everything extra, you can do whatever you want with that. You can put that into yourself more. You can give that to other people or other projects, but you need to make sure that your needs are met, and you need to make sure that you are progressing in some way.
And I agree. But at the same point, Ben, I'm sure you've dealt with a lot of people who they don't even know, like you said, the kid digging in the sand, and they don't even know what they're digging for. How many people do you deal with that it seems like that's what they're doing in life, or they're digging on someone else's property in a sense because they don't know what they want for themselves? What would you tell the people that are going through that to be able to push through that and stop digging into nothing?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because we all end up wherever we are in life, partly because of conscious decisions that we make and partly because of circumstances that happen to us in our lives, right? And sometimes you have to learn to bob and weave and stuff like that. The one thing that I can tell you is that for every person that I've placed into a new job, there's probably 3 to 5 people that I didn't place into that job. So I've had to tell 4, 5, 6 times as many people no as I have yes in the course of my career. And all of those people that I had to tell no to, are not bad people, right? They're not. It's not that they've done something wrong or anything like that. A lot of times it just comes down to their personality, their approach, the way that they engage, and it becomes really, I don't know, it's almost like, for me as a recruiter, I have gotten to a point now where if I'm on the phone with a candidate for 10 seconds, I can tell whether or not this person is going to be quality enough to spend enough time with them to decide whether I'm going to submit them to the job, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't take very long. It's like a homicide detective. The first time they see a dead body, they probably get pretty woozy. By the 15 years down the road, it's just another dead
exactly
body, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing for anybody, right? If you're an auto mechanic and you see a problem with a car, for me as a guy who has to go out and jack my car up and look underneath it and not know what I'm looking at, it's a big deal. For an auto mechanic, it's just a thing that they got to fix, right? They've done it 1,000 times. So for candidates, they have to kind of understand that you have to know, again, you have to know what it is that you're trying to accomplish in order to be successful in the interview process. And consequently, when I do come across candidates who are very clear about what they want, then it becomes really easy for me to work with them and help them find the right job, not just the one that they applied to. And that, for me as a recruiter, and I think for all of my colleagues in the industry, that's pretty common. When we come across a candidate that is sincere, that's honest, that is willing to say, no, that's not really a good fit for me, or I'm really looking for a little bit more money, or, you know, hey, that skill set doesn't really match, but here's what my expertise is, and this is really what I'd be looking for. As again, if you know what you're looking for, it's easy to ask people for help.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question, I think it comes down to, you have to be sincere, you have to be honest, you have to know what what the purpose is when you go into an interview, or even when you just apply for a job, right? Maybe I'm going to shift gears here a little bit, but you've probably heard lots of different philosophies. Some resume coaches, some recruiters might say that you should have multiple resumes and you should craft your resume so that it matches with the job that you're applying for and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's a complete waste of time. I think that it's more important, again, for you to write the resume that is the marketing material that's going to get you in front of the hiring manager that's hiring for you, right? Your resume is not a log of everything you've done in your life. It's a go forward marketing brochure that you're going to put in front of somebody who's looking to hire somebody who has your skills, or who has the skills that you want to focus on, right? I have a lot of skills. For example, I served in the military.
Thank you for your
I'm
service.
proud of my service. It doesn't define me. The work that I did in the military has absolutely nothing to do with the career that I've chosen after the military.
Yeah.
So on my resume, I literally have military service, the unit that I was in, and that's it. I don't talk about it. But I see resumes all the time from people who served in the military at some point in their life, not necessarily people who are just getting out now, but years ago they served and now they have a career or whatever, and they highlight at the top of their resume, Army veteran, Navy veteran, or something like that. It's like, okay, but I mean, unless you're a merchant marine, being in the Navy kind of doesn't have any impact on the job that you're trying to get.
That makes sense.
So you have to be relevant. It has to make sense to the reader.
So with somebody, with somebody getting ready to go apply for jobs, I own my companies, but the thing is, there's a lot of people who are out there applying for jobs. Let's say I'm not an owner of my company. I'm somebody who's looking for a job. How should I structure my resume? You're saying to match it to the person, but like for me, let's use the example of I'm applying for a job. Like if I was applying for a job for an auto mechanic or a handyman job, I want to have those be the things at the top that showcase what I've done in the past. But if I'm looking at being a manager at a restaurant or something, it's showing the leadership jobs I've had and where I've had been able to be in those positions. What would be ways of people knowing how to fix their resumes up into being what it would be to catch the eyes of people? How would you recommend people? Because there's so many different jobs, but a great way of being able to connect people to right off the bat, this makes your resume stand out. Do you have any tips like that?
Yep, absolutely. So I'm going to go back in time a little bit. When I was in college and I finished school and I went to the career center, they told me that I had to have my resume printed on like nice linen paper or find a bright color so that when the stack of resumes came and the HR person was looking through resumes, that, ooh, mine's on nice paper, so it stands out, right? That is so like 30 years ago, right? So you can't do that anymore, right? Then it became, we went through a phase. You remember when the internet was at that phase where like all the mouse trails and there was all the moving parts and everything? Well, resumes were doing the same thing. Everybody got into graphics and they had to show charts and graphs of all the things that they did or whatever. That's all gone now too, right? What's happened is technology has, like in every part of our life, has permeated the recruiting world too, right?
Yeah.
So whether you're applying for a job directly at a company or applying for a job through a staffing agency or through, there are state programs, right? Workforce programs all over the country. Doesn't matter. There's almost nowhere left in the world, or in our country anywhere, where you go fill out a paper application, right? That doesn't exist. So even entry-level dishwasher job, you're most likely going to go and apply online, right? So resumes now have to be digital, right? There was a period in time, maybe 10, 15 years ago, people talked about like, oh, your resume should only be one page, right? Again, it doesn't matter anymore. There's no such thing as a page when you're talking about ones and zeros, right? So I constantly am reformatting people's resumes. And when I say reformatting, I mean, get rid of all the tables, get rid of all the forms, get rid of all of the columns and all of that. Make the margins normal. Use a normal font like an Arial or a Calabria or something like that. Don't use the Times New Roman because it's hard to read, right? Use something without a sans serif or what have you. And so keep it simple, keep it plain. Use formatting functions like bold and underline and italics to emphasize things, right? Then on top of that, again, it doesn't matter what level job you're looking for. You have to be able to qualify and quantify the work that you did. So it's one thing to say that, you know, I worked on a project and we did this thing. Okay, but what impact did that have? You worked on this project, you did this thing, and it reduced cost by some percent, or it increased revenue by some percent, or it changed the ratio from something to something else, right? You got to show the impact, right? If you can show the person that's receiving your resume that you understand their business and that you understand your impact on their business and that you know what the level of importance that that role has, then you're more likely to be successful in the job search exercise.
Now, so how, all right, you've been doing this for 15 years. What has been some of the biggest challenges you've seen through this that like just seem to be a common occurrence that you're like, all right, this is somebody else doing this. What would you see? Because maybe I guarantee people are not noticing that they're doing certain things. They're not. Desperation, really? So
people come across desperate all the time, and I understand why, right? Especially if you're out of work and you're looking for a job, you got mouths to feed, you got bills to pay. It's pretty easy to be desperate, right? It's pretty easy to find yourself in dire straits. And this past year has been certainly an example of that for millions of people, right? And you know, knock on wood, it seems like things are starting to come back around, but there's still 8 or 10 million people who haven't gotten their jobs back, right? So it's tough. It's definitely a challenge.
Does desperation?
I guess.
Sorry, just before it switches, does desperation come out as people see it in their resumes? Can you see that as somebody that's a coach like that? Can you see that people are desperate through their resumes? And that sounds bad, but I'm meaning it as like they don't realize they're coming across like that.
Yeah, so it's hard to say for sure whether it comes across in a resume. There are different things in resumes that come across, and there's all different kinds of ways to deal with some of these challenges. And it's a topic for another conversation maybe. But, you know, like people who have lots of jobs over the last few years, right? Over the last 3 years, if you've had 5 jobs, right? Now, some of those might be contract jobs, temp jobs, whatever. But those kinds of things come across sometimes as like, well, what's up with this person, right? Why can't they hold a job? Sometimes people have gaps, right? Maybe they worked for 4 or 5 years and they took a year off because something happened in their life and now they're back to work, right?
Mhm.
Now, there are legitimate reasons why people have time off, right? Elderly parents, sick children, whatever, all different kinds of things. There are also things that will disqualify you, like went to jail for a year, right? That's a harder thing to overcome. But there are ways to overcome that stuff. I think the desperation comes through in the first conversation, right? Whether it's with a staffing agency recruiter or a corporate HR recruiter or what have you. It's the way that people present themselves. A lot of times they're overzealous. They send thank you notes that have misspelled words or that aren't relevant to the conversation. I see thank you notes from candidates all the time that I never send on to the hiring managers because they say things like, I really enjoyed our conversation. I think I'd be great fit for your team. That's not relevant to the conversation that you had, right? If you're going to send a thank you note to a manager after an interview, you should say, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. By the way, you asked a question that I wasn't really sure I had the answer. I've thought about it. Here's the answer.
Great tip.
I'd really like the opportunity to discuss it with you further, right? Completely different approach, and you'll break through, right? You'll stand out in that regard. I have candidates that call me just incessantly, just call and call and call and call. And it's like, look, man, when I have something, I'll call you. And you get to a point where it's like, look, I'm not going to call you ever because I can't. You're unemployable, right? And it's not that the guy's unemployable. He's not a bad person. He's just so anxious and desperate to get to whatever thing.
It's
and it all boils down to you don't know who you are, so you don't know what you want, so you're just chasing shadows, and you never catch one, right? You might get to a new destination, you might make more money, you might have all these things, but you're still going to be miserable. You're still going to be chasing something that you can't get.
I got a question from Stovetop Yum Yum really quick. How many jobs max should you put on your resume? So if you've had 20 different jobs in the past, should you maybe only put the 5 that are most relevant to the job you're applying to?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm so glad to have Stovetop Yum Yum on the show because I'm ready to go make some naan bread and stuff. I can't wait to try it. But that's a whole other thing. I'm sorry. Ask me the question.
The question is, how many jobs maximum should you put on your resume?
Okay. Yeah. So that's, there's no number. There's no maximum number of jobs, right? So if you're looking for a job, as a chef, for example, and you've had 10 jobs as a chef, but in the middle of there, you had a person, maybe you took a job as a telemarketing sales because you needed to put some money on the table, right? You might skip that one, right? You might find a way to say, you know what, I'd rather explain the gap than try to explain why I took this job that doesn't have any impact.
Right.
I've seen other people, other jobs where maybe it's a little bit easier to tell the story. I took a statistics class once that the teacher made it very clear that it's not what the numbers say, it's what you say about the numbers that matters. So
that's a good
you
point.
Take that to how do you write your resume? It's not necessarily exactly what you did. Again, it's how do you craft the words? How do you use the language in a way that helps you get to where you want to go? So I just the other night was helping somebody. He's a project manager. He's got several years of experience in project management, but in between there, he took a job as a salesperson. I don't know. He felt like maybe he wanted to make more money. He saw all these salespeople making a lot of money. He thought he'd try sales, realized that he's not very good at sales, went back to being a project manager. So on his current resume, it said account manager, business development, right? And we started going through all of the things that he did as a salesperson that were more operational in nature, more project management, similar types of activities. Like how do you manage customers and using the database and contact management, all that kind of stuff, which is all similar to project management stuff. And then we changed the title from business development manager, account manager, whatever, to sales operations leader. Okay. I mean, the reality is that, and I'm not saying you should lie on your resume. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that you can manipulate the language so that you're telling your story, right? And again, nobody is ever going to go back and validate all of those jobs and all of those dates and all of that stuff. Nobody has time for it. And it's so, again, you don't want to put stuff on, you see, you know, on the news every once in a while, the CEO of some organization put that they graduated from Harvard and that they didn't, and then they get fired and all that. So don't lie. If you didn't go to Harvard, don't say you went to Harvard, right? But, you know, but you can, I'll say, fluff the language.
Yeah, no, definitely, absolutely. Yes, Brandon.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I see him laughing now. Thanks, Ben. So, question on the Harvard thing. I've taken 3, well, I shouldn't say my mom has taken 3 classes on Harvard over COVID. They were the free classes, but in all honesty, she's kicking some butt. Like, I got into these really, really unique classes that they offered, and she's found a part of her that she's loving it. But I made the joke, oh, good, now you can put that you went to Harvard on your resume because she's taken 3 free online classes. Would that technically be lying? I mean, there's nothing that's helping her in a career. It's like the one is really fascinating. They take one object from time and then connect it to all these different parts of like how the universe works and makes it special to them. And so my mom did stuff in the city of Cleveland where we live and all this. And the Harvard professor read it and talked about it. And that made her feel like, wow, I really could have gone to college and done some good stuff. So I make that joke. And then you used Harvard here. And I'm sitting there going, this is perfect. Like, can my mom put that on her resume? She's retired. But I think it'd be a fun thing for her to put on there. Like, oh, yeah, I went to Harvard.
Sure, absolutely. If she wants to go sit around I'm gonna get sort of cliche here, but if she wants to sit around the bridge table and tell her friends that she went to Harvard, that's great. You know what I mean?
I wish she played bridge. She doesn't play bridge. We're gonna have to teach her that one. You know?
Oh, they get mean.
You know, here's the thing: if it's relevant to whatever it is that you're trying to do, then yes, you should put it on there. But here's the thing, like, I've been to Boston. I went to the Harvard bookstore. I bought a Harvard t-shirt. Can I say that I've been to Harvard?
Yes.
Yes, I can say I've been to Harvard, but I didn't take any classes there. I certainly didn't graduate from there. I have no relationships, no network. You can't validate or verify anything. So it's sort of like you have to recognize, here's the best measuring stick. If you work for a company and they have a tuition reimbursement program, if you take a class that's relevant to your job, your company is likely to help pay for that. Mm-hmm. If you take a class that's not relevant to your job, they're not going to pay for that, right? So if you want to go take a class in pottery because you enjoy pottery and you think it's interesting and it sounds great and it's something to do, and you get out of the house, you meet some new people, those are all great. Those are great things that you should do. Yeah. But don't put that on your resume. Right? When somebody asks you, what are you passionate about? Don't say pottery unless you're going to work for a pottery factory or something. You know what I mean? It's sort of, it has to be relevant information. If you're talking about all these things that you love to do that have nothing to do with the job that the person's hiring for, then they're not going to hire you.
I agree. And so go ahead, Gavin. You know I don't shut up. You're going to have to ask questions in between.
Really quick, Ben, where can we find your information? You got like a website, social media, all that stuff.
Yeah, no, LinkedIn is probably the best way to find me. Just Ben Passman. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I don't have like the whole social media setup, I guess. Maybe I should do that. But yeah, anybody who wants to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm happy to connect. Send me a resume. I'll give you a review. I'll tell you what's up. And so long as you don't take my criticism personally, recognize that all I'm doing is I'm judging words on paper. I'll send you my review. You can decide if it's something that you want to take it with a grain of salt or not, whatever you would like to.
I think that's an interesting way of putting that. Sorry, Gavin.
I got you right here. I'm going to copy and paste your LinkedIn into our chat.
I just think that it's fascinating how people reach out to you to ask for your advice on their resumes, and then they take it personally for you trying to help them. Is that a common occurrence?
Yeah, for sure. Because think about how much time somebody puts into creating their resume, right? They have to seriously think about all of the jobs that they've had. Who are their references? If somebody asks, who's my reference? if you burned bridges along the way, right, that becomes harder, right? You get very emotionally invested in writing a resume. And again, most people are not writers for a living. Most people don't sit down and write resumes every day or read resumes every day, right? Most people go about and do their jobs, whatever their jobs are, right? So writing a resume becomes very personal, and you become very emotionally attached, and you feel like your resume, almost everybody feels like their resume is the best thing that they've ever produced, because they have to, because it's like they're going to get a job, right? That's the tip of the spear, right? And there are, I would say 99% of the resumes that I see are dull. Like they don't have, there's no sharpness to that spear. It's because, again, people don't do it every day. So they don't know what they don't know, right? And so when I then come back and say, this resume is terrible, let's redo the whole thing. We're going to reformat it. We're going to change it all entirely. I'm going to put bullet points. We're going to make it easy to read. I'm going to tell you all the things that you need to fix. That's hard to hear sometimes, right? And so then people start to think like, oh man, that guy Ben, man, what a jerk.
Yeah, well, I think I was taught for one day in class in high school how to write a resume. And all I remember is that they sort of like put your name, your contact info, and then unique stuff about you, what makes you special and stuff like that. And now looking back, I'm like, why the hell would you just say that to a whole bunch of high schoolers who have no idea where their place is in the world, and then just assume they know how to do this for the rest of their life?
Yes.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. Like in high school, like they have home ec, they have all these classes and all that. But like when you're doing something that's going to be a life skill, I don't need to know trigonometry as well as I know how to balance my checkbook and like things like that. And I get we need to take these things and they're essential. But with building your resume, I'm going to just throw Gavin out here. Gavin's a 21-year-old that I'm 38 in a couple weeks. And for me, the resumes are so different of where I built mine to how his is being built right now. And he's still young, and I'll be honest, he is an amazing human being. He's going to go very far in life.
Thank you. I hope
so. Change the word right now. I know so. So Gavin is going to go far in life, and he's going to do a lot of amazing things and help a lot of people. But building his resume at 21 is going to look completely different than mine. And for me, Stephanie goes, "Oh my God, he's 21."
Yeah, that's tough.
But like for people who are just starting out like that, like I want my resume to look like Barney from How I Met Your Mother. I'm not sure if you saw that episode. He creates one with like a bald eagle and things being flames, and it's a video. And at the end, they go, "There's nothing about your job there." He goes, "Yeah, but I get offers all the time because it's such a flashy thing." And I think that is a unique way of looking at it, because Gavin's age bracket is going to be one that's going to be what comes into it. It's going to be a video. It's going to be a link to show you who it is that goes to your social media. Where mine, I wrote it on a piece of paper. I remember typing my first resume up, and I went to somebody like you to get it checked, and it crushed me how much they took apart everything I did. And for the difference in age gaps, what have you noticed for people? So someone like Gavin is able to get caught in a growing.
I think I'm a bad example, just because I knew when I was 16 applying for Chipotle that the manager didn't give a shit that I knew that I was in the drama club. I knew they didn't care about that. Like I don't need to act to roll burritos, you know.
You do.
So you ask a great question, Brandon. Different age groups, different level of experience, they come with different levers, right? So someone coming out of high school or college is going to leverage their education, their extracurricular activities. Maybe you were in a fraternity or a sorority. Maybe you were part of the honors club. Maybe you graduated with honors, right? Those kinds of things. Any of those kinds of things. Gavin, you were in drama club. So that's the kind of thing that you can leverage when you're going for your first job at Chipotle or working at the movie theater or whatever, right? It's like if you're looking at a 16 or a 17, 18-year-old kid who's still in high school, and both of them apply for the same job, and one of them has like a long list of extracurricular activities and the other one just has high school.
Yeah.
they're probably going to pick the kid who's engaged and stuff like that. When you're 21, you're not that far removed from those experiences, right? So you're probably still leveraging education and training and extracurricular activities and things like that. When you get a little bit farther into your career, education becomes less important. Nobody cares what your GPA is after you've gotten your first job,
Yeah.
right? So that's, as you get farther into your career, the relevance of some of those things becomes less and less. So your education moves down, your extracurricular activities get taken off, your new activities get put at the top, right? Things like that. And as long as you can show growth and progression in your profile, maybe you started at Chipotle and then you moved up to working at another restaurant.
I'm a head chef at Olive Garden
maybe
right now.
See, so there you go. So you've gone from fast casual to casual dining, right? That kind of thing, right? Maybe you started as, as a cook and worked your way up to cashier, worked your way up to a manager, different jobs along the way. But if you can show that kind of growth along the way, and it's the same thing, whether you're 21 or 38, or I'm about to be 50. If you start showing stagnation, or if you're going backwards or what have you, right, that you got to explain those things. But if your resume shows progression in your career and that every step you make is a small step forward, right, that kind of thing, managers like that. The other thing is that there's a lot of information out there right now. It's been coming out for years. There's lots of books and stuff about how to work with millennials and how to work with Gen Z, what are people's expectations and all this kind of stuff. And I feel like our society is completely missing the point on that stuff, because the people who are making the hiring decisions right now, like at corporate levels, right? The people who sit on the boards, the people who sit in the executive chairs, those kinds of things, those people are in their 60s. Yeah. And so I feel like the people who are in their 20s need to adapt to the people who are in their 60s, not the other way around, right? The old adage, you're not going to teach an old dog new tricks, right? So you're right. New workers, young workers coming into the marketplace are doing creative things with videos and social media and all that kind of stuff, and that's great for people in that social group. Right. But when you start getting to people my age and older, I mean, I don't even know what TikTok is. Okay, I do know what TikTok is, but really, I don't know. I don't have. I've never downloaded it. I don't know what it is. My wife is like, "What's an Instagram?" Seriously, and we're not like really, hermits, right? I mean,
really quick, do you have is this your do you have a podcast, Peek Behind the Curtain?
I do.
Okay,
yes.
Cool. I just want to make sure I got the correct LinkedIn, because I saw that in the description. I was like, oh, I hope that this is the same guy. You look slightly different in the picture. Like, I'm pretty sure this.
Oh yeah, my hair has been growing because of COVID. Yeah. I haven't gotten a haircut in almost a year, and I've decided that I'm going to wait. I've made it this far. In June, it'll be a year, and then I'm cutting it all off.
I love it. I'm going to put your podcast down here as well. Stephanie, I actually am a thespian, just to let you know. She said thespian is more impressive drama club. It's basically like the royalty of the drama club. So I do have that for your information. She has a question for you as well, which is, and then this is probably going to be the last question. Then we're going to jump in to check on Maritza and the food that she has been making.
I hope you're hungry.
Yeah, but the question is, a functional resume. Did we talk about that? And is it even a thing? I don't believe that we did go over that, so maybe it is no longer a thing.
It's kind of, I don't know, half the community thinks one, the other half of the community thinks the other. I am sort of on the camp of a chronological resume is more valuable than a functional resume. Again, it's because of the way the technology takes the data in and then presents it to recruiters, right? So when you send me your resume through a job application, I get a form with a whole bunch of information and then your actual document as an attachment, right?
Yeah.
And the form extrapolates a bunch of information from your resume into this form, right? So if you have a functional resume and it's talking about things that are out of chronological order, then when it shows up on my view, it's confusing, right? It's hard to read. And when things are hard to read, it's easy to delete. You got to think about the role of a recruiter. The job of a recruiter is not to weed people in. It's to weed people out. Our job is to make the hiring manager's life easier, right? Our job is to make sure that we're only sending through the 2 or 3 best candidates out of the pool of people that apply, right? So again, depending on the job, you might only get 2 or 3 candidates that apply, or you might get 200 or 300 candidates that apply, right? And so as a recruiter, it becomes really easy to just delete. Oh, here's one that looks okay. Cool. I'll save that one. Delete. It's the same. It's no different than dating. It's swipe left, swipe right.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what we like.
That's a great point. It's no different than dating. And that's what people should think about with this. I think that's a great one. Ben, I love your energy, by the way. You brought a good energy this morning. You answered a lot of good questions for people in a tough market right now. When does your book come out? And then we'll have Maritza come in and make us all want to twerk because of the fact she's going to do her taste working.
The plan is to have the book finished by the end of April. So my target is May 1st.
Nice.
So we'll see. We're getting close.
Where's it going to be available?
It'll be on Amazon.
Okay, sweet.
So we have a book club that we do as well. Would you be willing to, if I connect you with my with the book club leader of our group, we would have it be a book for a week for everybody to get into and all that, and then the week after that we'd talk to you, and she would actually, I'd love to do that. My birthday's April 25th. If you get it out on my birthday, I might just be super like screaming for everybody, be like, go read this book. He put it out just today for my birthday. I wouldn't really do that.
If I can get it done in time, then maybe I can even send you a copy for your birthday.
Oh my God, I would be honored. And I promise, I want to read your book because while I might run my companies, it's essential for people to be able to, I like reading because it opens up the floodgates of your mind. It shuts down what you're doing. We were talking about this at the beginning of the show, how reading is not something many people do because it falls asleep. They do this or that. And I'm one of them. But at the end of the day, I'm also someone that wants to be able to focus better and bring my best me. And when I keep bringing my focus back to reading, it's like meditating. It's bringing me back into the book and bringing me back into the story and opening my mind. And that's what I've had to learn to do and keep pushing. Gavin.
Yeah, and that's great because Brandon, you like to read. Other people like to listen to audiobooks. Some people prefer movies, right? The point that I want to make, I guess, is that it's not about how you get information. It's just the fact that you continue to get information, that you continue to learn, you continue to grow, continue to understand. There are concepts out there that I'm certainly no expert, but like in things like neuro-linguistic programming and stuff. And I've taken little tiny bits of information from those kinds of sciences. You see something on a YouTube video or watch something on the Science Channel on TV or whatever. And it's like, oh, wow. So there's something about the human psyche that now I understand that I can use to my advantage, right? And like you've heard these cliches, like people buy from people they like, not from companies, right? People quit jobs because of their manager, not because of their company, right? Things like that. It's about the people, right? And so, it's if you can get in tune with how to communicate with people, how to influence people, how to get people on your side, to follow along and help you get to where you're going, then your path will be a lot smoother. I can tell you my path over the last 10 years has straightened out and gotten a lot smoother. And I mean, my story is a crazy, wild, windy road, but I've gotten to this point of self-realization where I know that I don't know everything yet. And that gives me opportunity. I can see a future for myself that's greater than what I have today. And if you can do that, if you can visualize something tomorrow that's better than today, then you can set goals. And if you can set goals, then you can reach them.
I love it.
Absolutely, man.
Ben,
we're going to bring Maritza on now.
No, you're good. I look forward to reading your book. That's all I said.
Yeah, no, I'm excited as well. All right, and now we got Maritza. Let's see what she's been cooking up in the kitchen.
Hey, guy. I got my coffee mug. Check it out.
Love that. What you got for us, Maritza? I'm going to solo you out real quick.
Okay. By the way, nice to meet you, sir. Great advice on that resume.
Thank you. Nice to meet you as well. Thanks for all the cooking tips.
You're very welcome. This is our beautiful shakshuka. Let's get a close up.
Ooh.
I can smell it through the screen. It smells good. It really doesn't smell through the screen, but I'm hoping my mom's cooking it downstairs.
Oh, I garnished it with dill, some beautiful dill. Now keep in mind, great tip, you guys. I squeeze some lemon, some lime on the avocado, and I put the lime pieces on the other half so the avocado will not turn brown.
Yes.
Great tip.
Great tip. Yep.
All right, so I'm going to plate, and we are going to taste.
It looks very light and fresh. I like that.
So beautiful, yes, and so good for you too.
Yeah.
And like I always say, Gavin, you don't have to. Eating healthy can be delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's some days where I wake up and I know that I'm gonna have a really like strenuous long day where I want a hearty meal. I want a lot of potatoes or like biscuits and gravy kind of thing. I want something that's got some bulk to it. But I really like this. Looks something that'd be nice on like a day off, where like I wake up and this is how I start my day. Something that's going to give me energy, but also not make me feel doing much that day.
Absolutely. Let me show you guys. I'm plating here. I apologize for that. I know my beautiful face is great on camera, but I wanted to show you the food. So
I was looking at Carlito.
Thank you, Brandon.
You're welcome. So tell us a little bit about what you got, everything you have going here. How long did this take you? And give us a positive thing before you do your taste work.
This took no longer than 15 minutes. Took no longer than 15 minutes to make. Very simple with the ingredients that I mentioned at the beginning. What I did was saute the onions, the caraway seeds. I toasted them first, threw the onions in, a tablespoon of olive oil, because this is all 100% healthy. So I use some olive oil, and I use a little bit of salt and pepper to taste with my cumin as well. Once I did that, the whole spinach, when it wilts, it's really not the amount that we think it is, right? So that whole bag gave me this. And I love spinach because it wilts quick. They use a lot of Swiss chard in Israel. They use kale in Pakistan. It's very different. It's very different what everyone uses. This is the green version because I have avocado, and it's a very green-looking dish. And I garnished it with dill, you guys. Carlito is excited. He can't wait to taste it. My God.
I love the little light setup you got there.
Oh, you like it? It's my disco light, so when I start twerking.
Carlito, how are you out of school on a Monday?
It's Easter Monday. I think that's what it's called. It's called Easter Monday.
Okay.
So they just gave you the day off on Mondays now?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
This
Monday, yeah.
School has changed so much for me, like for them. I love it. All right, so we're going to go around, and Ben, you're lucky because you get to be here for our goodbyes. It's not even lucky. We're glad you're here, so we're the lucky ones. But
hang on. Let me cut you off. Brandon, can I cut you off for a second?
Anytime. I'm scared of you now.
Yes, that's great. I've got my Delight, which is odorless, tasteless. I put it on everything that I eat, my 3 meals a day. And what I'm going to do is, here's Carlito's plate. Look at these plates, you guys. Hold on a second. Hold this, Carlito. Don't drop it. Look at these plates. Look at this beautiful, beautiful mid-morning brunch. Look at that.
That looks so good. Healthy fats, proteins. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to crack the egg a second, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
To torture you even more.
Oh, it looks so good.
Let me join in.
Carlito, join in.
Oh, he's 13 with an attitude now, I see.
Yeah.
And then do you take it and you put it in the bread then? You like rip the bread apart and sort of make little like hand sandwiches with it kind of deal?
Thanks for the reminder. No, I just use it like little pieces of bread. Carlito will probably use it as a taco. Here, I'll give Carlito the big piece. Here you
go. Yeah.
You can, though. You can grab it like this, and you can put it. I don't do that. I'm fancy. I'm fancy.
Yeah.
I'm ready to taste.
Uh-oh. Taste twerk. Is this twerk worthy? Carlito, is it twerk worthy? I see you back there taking a bite too.
I got it. I'm getting ready. I'm making my taco. Putting a taco in.
My God, you guys. That dill explodes in your mouth. And the earthiness from the cumin, yes, and that harissa when you swallow it. I do use the mild harissa, by the way, not the spicy.
Yeah.
And the creaminess of that egg yolk. This is so delicious and so healthy and so good for you that it's just like, I don't know. It's like it's healthy fuel for your body. Oh.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Carlito, give me an impression, buddy. Is this twerk-worthy food?
That's good?
A 9 out of 10. I can't give anything a 10 out of 10. This was great. This was amazing.
I love it. All right, Carlito, for your mom today, you're going to help us out, buddy. You ready? You're going to give a positive. All right, start your twerking. I love it. If it's twerk-worthy, you said 9. You got to twerk, buddy. You get it in there, buddy. I love it. I love it. Carlito, you and your mom give us your final words of the day and inspire your classmates and everybody so that way they're proud of who you are and they want to find their best delight in life, just like you're doing, buddy. I'm so proud of you.
You go first. Go.
Okay.
Positive.
Guys, yeah, I was going to say that. Guys, you should always be positive and have a happy attitude on everything because there will be a different outcome if you don't.
I love it. And Miss Maritza.
Yes. As I always say, you guys, passion and love, find the light, shine. But today I'm going to say, as Gandhi once said, be who you want the world to, how you want the world to be. Be how you want the world to be. And always remember to stay positive, keep your head up. And whenever you're feeling down, reach out to any of us or anyone. And I personally am here to listen to anyone because I love you all. And I hope you know that through this delicious and passion, and always remember, I love you guys.
I love it. I love it.
I'm going to bring Brett Gordon up next.
All right,
I removed him.
Been some fantastic information today, Ben. Really appreciate the information that you have. I was also in the military and corporate America, so understand a lot about what you do and appreciate the advice that you gave. For me, I would just say forgive thyself. That's really critical to being able to deal with what life has to bring each and every day. And when we run into these black swan events, which is what they're calling things like COVID, and they're events that are major events that affect, basically the world of business, the world in general. You need to prepare yourself for that. And the best way to do that is, first of all, to work on yourself and to start with forgiving thyself. And from that point on, you can continue to grow and moves. Oftentimes, that you need to do that in order to go from selfish to selfless.
Absolutely. Brandon, you're up next.
So, guys, we're just getting through, as we learned earlier with Brett, it's he is risen to we are risen. Helping yourself be able to build your best you with the proper tools. We had a wonderful, if you've had a struggle finding a job and all that, please go through the comments and listen to Ben's podcast / connect with him on LinkedIn. Do yourself the favor of loving yourself first today. And that's how we all rise up together. Because when you love yourself and you put yourself first, and I don't mean that as a negative, I mean that as loving you and knowing who you are best. You will bring out that unicorn inside you, as Donna McGee just showed us. You will be able to find people who are positive affirmations in your life to build you up, and you will make huge changes that are going to bring a brighter light to yourself. I promise. That's what we all bring here, and that's what we're starting to show everybody. So help us be that change by loving yourself. Ben, thanks again for coming on. I'm going to let you go next. Or I'm sorry, Gavin's next, perfect. Then Ben. I'm sorry, Gavin's next, then you, because you get to go last after hearing everybody.
Excellent.
Yeah. So definitely was a very great podcast. Very happy to be able to start the week off with this. And not only that, be starting off the show with such a great guest. You were the first guest of the show since we've done the reboot. Very happy to have you on. One thing that I really want to emphasize that was a big theme in here is taking time for yourself. And what I want you to do with that specific time is figure out what you want. Figure out what your goals are. And they can be huge goals. They could be seemingly impossible goals. As humans, we've done this amazing. We are very good at doing the impossible. At one point, it was impossible to go across the ocean. Now we do it in multiple different ways daily. Maybe not right now, but typically, normally, we do it daily in multiple different ways. We used to think that it was impossible to go out of the atmosphere when we went to the moon. We figure out things that are impossible, and then we do them. So set goals, however big or small you want to do them, and then set little goals, set steps to get there. Take your time to sit down and figure out what you actually want in life. It could be big, it could be small, but be a little selfish and figure out what you want to do for you. I'm going to let Ben most certainly, last but most certainly not least, take us out, Ben.
All right. Well, thanks very much for having me today. It was really a pleasure to be on the show, first of all. Secondly, I'm going to boil it down. I saw a meme just the other day from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, whatever you think of The Rock is, that's whatever. But he's an inspirational guy. His meme said, "Don't come home from working for someone else all day and not work on your goals. It's not because you're tired. You're just uninspired." So
love that.
Absolutely.
I'll leave it with that.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Guys, make sure to check in with Ben. Go follow him on LinkedIn. Listen to his podcast. Build yourself up to be the best you. Don't forget about Brett Gordon. He's with Businesses Are People Too. Gavin Kerr of Gavin Kerr Entertainment and Always Being Sexy. Yes, that's the website I just bought for you. And down all the way at the corner over there is Miss Maritza Stovetop Yum Yum. We thank you all so much. Did you catch that, Carlito? Did you catch it? Yeah, I saw him toss it. Guys, this was such a great episode today. I thank you all for joining. Please remember, let your friends know, let your people know, let your colleagues know how you want to start your day in a positive way. Go, Maritza, and then we'll take it out.
Don't forget, guys, my channel on YouTube, Stovetop Yum Yum. And I also have my first cookbook coming out. I had to postpone it, so we're looking for the middle of May to have that done. And my merchandise line is coming soon.
So do you have you and Ben need to race to see who can get their book out first? Because Ben's trying to get it out by my birthday, Maritza.
I'm doing it.
I love it.
Everybody have a wonderful day, and we will see you all tomorrow. Love you guys. Take care.
Take care.